Are you in a position where you're thinking about, is now a good time for buying a home or should I continue renting a home? Well, hey, in today's video, that's exactly what we're going to break down. So let's go ahead and get started with that video right now. So let me say this, that I feel it's a good opportunity for a lot of people to purchase a home. I think that's something like having the opportunity to buy a home is a great thing. However, that doesn't mean buying a home is the right decision for everybody right now. What I mean by that is it really depends on your situation. Now, for some people, they might be in a position where, they have to look at where they're at with their finances, where they're at with their credit, where they're at with their job stability. All these things play a big role when it comes time to make that decision or make that leap of faith from renting a home to buying a home. So, um, because there's pros and cons to both. There's pros and cons to buying a home. There's pros and cons to renting a home. And we'll start with some of the pros and cons of buying a home. Then we'll go to the pros and cons of renting a home and kind of just see where that aligns with your current situation. So, of course, when you're buying a home, one of the big advantages of that is that you're going to be building equity. And for those who may not know, equity is the difference between what you owe and what your home is worth. So if you have a home that's worth 200,000 and you owe 100,000, then you have $100,000 of equity, right? So that's one of the advantages. And also with home ownership, you have a little bit more stability, right? You're not worried about the landlord kind of going up on rent or giving you notice and you have to move again and move your family and all that stuff. So that's definitely a big pro. In addition to that, it gives you a little bit more, you kind of customize your home how you want to, from the decor to, you don't have to have as many restrictions. So that's definitely an advantage as well. Not to mention there's tax advantages. So when you purchase a home, you can write off the mortgage interest and you can write off a portion of the property taxes. So all these things are great, right? All these things are great. However, when buying a home, there are some things you got to consider. Like when you're leasing a home, you don't have to put as much money down in most situations. There are some very unique situations where you can purchase a home without having to put a lot of money down. Like I've helped a couple people do that in just recently. However, most times you got to put down more money. You have more maintenance that you have to think about when buying a home, and that's something that a lot of people don't talk about. Is that when you buy a home, you have to maintain the yard in some situations, the roof, the plumbing, pretty much everything. Like that's something you got to factor in. Versus when you're renting, you kind of just call the landlord or call the property manager and have them come out and address it. So you got to look at all these different things when doing that. And I would say if you're looking at leasing, then of course it's a little bit easier to kind of get into it. And there's advantages to that as well. But the main thing is to kind of make sure that you're looking at being in a position where you're not putting you and your family in a tough spot financially. And what I mean by that is just because you want to buy a home right now, that doesn't mean it's the best time to buy a home right now. And one thing that I stand on in my business is that when I'm helping people, I'm looking out for their best interest. It's definitely been situations where I've had clients come to me and say that they want to buy a home, but it doesn't mean that now is that perfect time for them. So one of the most important things you can do is look at where you at right now. I like to have a consultation to where we can kind of see where's the income, where's the credit, where's the job history. Look at everything because all of these things matter. You don't want to get into a home and be house poor. And by that meaning, you can pay the mortgage, but you can't live life. That's not what we're really supposed to be doing, right? That's not living. That's not living. So for some people, it might take a little bit more time, but don't get discouraged by that. Like, don't get discouraged that it didn't happen right away. I remember when I bought my first home, it didn't happen right away. And I'm helping people buy and sell homes all the time. And it wasn't my time. And I had to pray on it. I had to reflect on it and really give myself time to think, okay, what can I do to put myself in a better situation that works out for me and my family? And when our time came up, everything worked out effortlessly, seamlessly. And that's just how it works. Like, so don't force it. Don't get discouraged if you're not ready to buy a home right now. However, for those individuals who are ready, meaning like everything looks good as far as their financials, they're in a good place to do something. like that to make that move, there are some incredible opportunities right now. And that might sound crazy because the interest rates are a little bit higher, right? However, I'm seeing properties. I showed a property yesterday. The property was listed at 790 2 months ago. It was listed when I showed it yesterday, it was at 709, meaning that big of a drop in the price is what we're seeing in this market. Not everywhere. I don't want to say that happens everywhere, but I'm just saying I've seen big price reductions in this market because there's not as many buyers in this market. So that's an advantage. Like if you can buy a home and it's not going to put too much stress and burden on you and your family, then yes, it is a good time. However, if it's gonna stretch you too far to where you're not gonna be able to enjoy life and and do the things that you want to do with your life, then give it a little bit of time. Give it a little bit of time. And like I said, it's no pressure. Either way, however you want to do it. I just wanted to share those opinions with you guys because I get those type of questions. And outside of that, yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out to me in the comment section. Thank you guys so much. I see there's a few people on the live right now. Thank you so much for watching. And hey, let's make it happen.